Hey everybody, Evan Kirstel here with another great discussion today. Chris Melus of T-Mobile. Chris, how are you?
I'm great, Evan. Thanks so much for having me to here. It's great to see you again.
Yeah, it's great to see you, and I'm really excited for this conversation. You are an engineer and a problem solver at heart. And tell us about your journey through the world of 5G at T-Mobile for Business.
Sure. I've been in the telecommunications industry for over 20 years, working in all sorts of different aspects of the business, from our operations teams all the way through development engineering, and now responsible for the product development team here at T-Mobile for Business. And we've found that we're working on some really effective solutions in this space with the right people working together, which is really for us a really big thing that we like to do. We have a diverse group of stakeholders we try to engage, and a diverse group of people inside of T-Mobile working on these things. We've also found that adopting the right processes, taking into account the needs of meaningful change, but also how do people embrace that change? 5G is a big change going on in the industry right now, and people are really trying to understand and learn about it, see how it fits their needs and how it's different than the things they might have today. And then finally, we have to have the right technology for the challenge. And 5G is an amazing foundational solution that we're going to be able to build lots of future opportunities on and create new value for our customers and so many other people in the world as they communicate and how they go about their days and lives.
Fantastic. And of course, 5G as a technology is intriguing to us as tech geeks, engineers, but you're also learning a lot about monetization of 5G. Tell us more.
Yes, really, 5G has had a lot of press right now about how it's coming, but there hasn't been a ton of people going out there and saying they're monetizing things. Here at T-Mobile for Business, we're finding a lot of success, though, and things with all kinds of connectivity across different manufacturing partners, automotive industries, drones, and medical and healthcare, as well as in the education world. Be giving connectivity that's dependable, fast, low latency, and can really go above and beyond what people have experienced today is opening up a ton of new opportunities for us to not just make ourselves happy with our customers and them happy with what we're doing, but also for them to be able to monetize things that in the past they might not have been able to do, capabilities that they may not have been able to achieve just because the infrastructure and the technologies that they had were not able to deliver the performance and the reliability that they need to service their customers and in their own operations and their technologies that they're trying to achieve.
Absolutely. And tell us about what you've learned through this journey to 5G. It's been a long road from 1G, 2G. I actually started in paging, so maybe that's 0G. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But tell us about that journey and what's different, what's unique. Why is 5G maybe just not another G?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of folks say 5G, what is it? It must just be faster. And of course it is. But it's the first wireless technology that has truly been built for one and two things. One, for the cloud. With the cloud in mind and moving things around and getting into a virtualized world, 5G is perfect for that kind of environment. Not only is it built from an architecture perspective and a security perspective and all of those things from the technology stuff that we like to talk about, but from what a customer's perspective it is, it now gives you that instantaneous access to data wherever it is at speeds and latencies that are really incredible. The other great thing about 5G is it was built to be monetized. It's not just built to be a communications path. It's built to be exposed, to have networks as a service, to really let customers engage with the network technology in ways that they've never been able to do so before, and customize the experience that we build at a very macro level, but to really make it specific to their needs and how their use cases are evolving from today to tomorrow and even into the future without having to worry about technology shifts like they have in the past. It's a really exciting time to be moving ahead in this space because it's really creating a lot of innovation, especially in our partners and collaborators that we work with, giving them capabilities to do things with their applications and services and things they're providing that they've never had access to before with any sort of other wireless technology.
Yeah, certainly the most exciting time in my career. Speaking of careers, your career, how did you join T-Mobile for Business? What was that journey? like?
I've spent the vast majority of my career actually in the technology side in the
Mhm.
CTO offices, starting my way all the way at the beginning as just a project manager in operations, and working my way eventually through up into the development and leading a lot of our applications and development teams at Sprint. So I came into T-Mobile as part of the integration of those two great companies, and then spent the vast majority of the first few years working on integrating those two groups. After that, I saw a great opportunity to come here in T-Mobile for Business, which was really on the precipice of blowing out its product portfolio into very technologically advanced
Mm.
capabilities like we're doing in 5G with our 5G advanced network solutions, the things we're doing in our enterprise collaboration tools, as well as our fixed wireless capabilities. So it was just an opportunity I couldn't pass up to come over here and lead this great group of people that are working on some really fantastic products and technologies to bring to our customers.
Wonderful. Wow, your enthusiasm is really infectious. And let's talk about the 5G ecosystem, the whole landscape. I mean, what does developing and bringing 5G powered solutions to market look like? What works in terms of the partnerships, the collaborations, and beyond?
Yes, we think about really our partnerships in three big ways. One, of course, we have our incubation capabilities that we have with our 5G Open Innovation Lab. You see us doing a lot of interesting, cool things that we've done in that space. Things like Pano, looking for fire detection automatically on
Wow.
the tops of towers, things that we're doing with Halo and self-driving cars, some of the work that you've even seen in this week being a great time to talk about what we've done with Major League Baseball and a couple
Mm.
of proof of concepts in those areas to really show what 5G can empower in terms of broadcast technologies. The second big area we think about is obviously our commercial partnerships. We bring a lot of great things to the table from a technology standpoint, but we can't do everything. We can't be experts in everything. And just like our great commercial partners, they can't be great at everything too. So we found getting together with some of those teams and other partnerships makes it really advantageous for us to bring things to our last part of who we think about our as partnerships, which is our customers. Very often we get into conversations with customers and we don't do just a one size fits all. Here's the product we have, take it off the shelf and go buy it. We really think about how do we innovate, give customers just right solution, but work with them to evolve their applications, their services, their devices to work with our capabilities and come up with new and innovative ideas. We've done several of these recently with yet to be announced, but coming soon, a major deal in the medical field with a very large scale hospital where they had
Wow.
applications that they used that we weren't familiar with in that space, and they're not experts. So we not only partnered with the customer, we also partnered with another collaborator in the space who had expertise there to bring together three great companies, three great use cases, and bring that together to form something that's really going to be quite impressive once it's up and ready and running. So we're really excited about those kind of capabilities that we're building across our collaborators, our innovation capabilities, and of course our commercial partnerships that we have.
Wow. Spectacular. And what are the main ingredients of a effective partnership? What does a collaboration look like in the 5G era?
Yeah, a lot of it depends on what we're doing. One of it is about scale. How do
Mm.
you bring solutions to scale and not make them one off? So when we look for partners, we look for partners that are being innovative, collaborating with us, trying to figure out a solution that works for that specific capability and use case, but also we can scale it much more broadly. So these would be things like in the capabilities of, say, computer vision. They have very specific models they need to be run. But if you integrate with the right partner in that space, you can now begin to bring that to more and more customers at a much more rapid pace than you used to in the past, where everything was custom built. And another area that we look at is just, are you ready to be wireless? So many technologies have been built on old wireline technologies. And now that we've freed people from wires and we've untethered their digital innovation, we really need to start to have people think differently. And us as a wireless first company, we have our DNA in mobility, our DNA in wireless. So we bring that together with a great marriage with our collaborations, our partnerships, our incubators, and all of those things to kind of really move things into the future. So those are some really important things that we look through when we go through our partnerships on how we bring things to market.
Fantastic. So as you know, 5G trials or proof of concepts are plentiful, but product launches are harder to come by. What does it take to really accelerate those innovative partnerships into real tangible results and ROI for all parties
It,
concerned?
Absolutely. And that's a great question. And you hit it actually at the end of it with ROI. We really stop trying to talk about technology. I mean, we do talk about technology. We're very proud of what our engineering and network teams and our IT teams have built. However, most customers don't understand that technology. You and I could sit here all day and probably have some really great conversations about the tech. But when we brought to customers, what we're talking about is solving their business problems, solving their use cases, and really demonstrating what the ROI is going to be in the solution that we're building for them. And that's really the key focus. And we found once we've shifted that discussion away from the tech, away from just showing maps of coverage and speed, but really saying this is what T-Mobile's 5G can do to solve your business problems. Here's how it's going to give you back investments over the next couple of years or months, depending on what we're building. It really opens up a key to that delivery. And that has been key for us in some of the things we've closed with companies like SailGP, what we've done recently with a major university, which we'll be announcing soon, some of the things we've been doing in the medical field, and also some work that we've done in the federal government. It's really all about showing of this investment is future-proofed, it's going to grow with you, and it's going to give you capabilities and unlock things that you've never thought possible. And it's up to us and T-Mobile as their partner to show them and demonstrate what the ROI and that's going to be. And that's really been the key to us to making some of the big wins that we've been having recently.
Fantastic. So you guys know a thing or two about scale, but how do you scale these innovative 5G solutions, get them to market globally, nationally, et cetera?
Well, one reason we're talking about today is a lot of strong partnerships and collaborations. Really finding people who are well versed in some of these things. For example, doing installations of some of our equipment and services in a medical environment is very, very different than doing some of the things we do, say, in our broadcast space or working with some of our sports partnerships. So finding those partners who can go and know that space, understand all the rules, the regulations, and how to put those things in is super important. On top of that, it's finding partners in the application space we're working with who also understand things like the regulatory environment, all the rules and regulations certain industries have. The work we do in finance, for example, and some of our collaboration capabilities is very specific to that work and those use cases, as you can imagine, making sure that trading and all of those things are covered and capable and have the right sets of security as well as documentation. So finding, again, those partners is really key to scaling, because for us to learn all those individual things would be impossible, and we would never be able to go at scale and move at full speed. So finding partners in those spaces who are well entrenched, who understand the space, and who can move as quickly as we like to move, those are the keys for us and how we make scale out of our deployments. And we have some specialties as well in T-Mobile for Business, but we have those go work with really strong partners and collaborators out in the commercial world and the public sector to help us really accelerate and scale our deployments and our wins.
Interesting. So you must have quite a playbook for best practices for go-to-market with these partners. I see lots of announcements on a weekly basis, folks like AWS, Google and beyond. What are some of those best practices in collaborating with partners?
I think one of the first things we've learned is we really need to be flexible and open as we enter into the work that we start to do with someone. For example, working with the city of Bellevue, and one of the recent announcements you've probably seen on some of the automotive and public safety work we're doing to keep pedestrians and vulnerable road users safe in the trial in Bellevue. We couldn't go in with our normal set of big contracts and all of the stuff that we need to do because we actually didn't know exactly what we're going to solve. So one of the things we learned is to go in and be as lightweight as possible. And really the number one thing is to keep our ears open. Listen to what the customers need. What are they trying to accomplish? And then not come in and be prescriptive about, well, here's our playbook and we're going to run all of these steps. We try to understand, well, this is going to work for you and this is not going to work for you. And this we can do a little bit faster, and this we're going to have to take a little bit more time to understand. So as we grow and do more in different types of installations and different types of solutioning and different types of customers, we get to build all these little bits of ingredients, as I like to call them, in our kitchen. So we start to become much faster at being able to go do things. And every time we go and do a completion of one of these activities, roll out a product with a customer in a new space or a new vertical, we learn, they learn, our partners learn, and we're able to transfer that into the next opportunity that we have and get better. So that's really where we've been trying to be focused, is not the prescriptiveness. It's a new era for everybody. We understand it really, really well, but we really have to try and help people, again, understand that ROI, really try to say what we're trying to accomplish, and then be very flexible in our solutions and our approaches to doing our deployments, and then also to our commercial agreements. So it's been a little bit of a fun ride recently, but as you've seen, we have a lot of announcements coming and a whole bunch more coming here through the rest of this year.
Well, fantastic. So your work isn't without challenges and obstacles. What are some of the misunderstandings that you see out there around 5G and the go-to-market, particularly from a business or B2B perspective?
Right. That's a great question. And it's one we have had to tackle many, many times. Luckily, work we're doing and putting out great work and understanding and making sure people know things like helping from you and other folks in the tech world who actually can understand this as well is really trying to explain, hey, this isn't just faster. We talked about that a little bit
Mhm.
earlier, but hey, why don't I just go and get my Wi-Fi upgraded? Why don't I just move to Wi-Fi 6? What about things in CBRS? Or hey, why would I need any of those things? Maybe I can just stick with wires. So moving beyond that, it's just not about speed is one of the big key discussions that we have with a customer right up front. We really talk about once you can untether yourself and you can't think about the way of Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is great and we use it. We are not allergic to using Wi-Fi in our solutions. There's a time and a place for that. But to give the top quality of performance and latency and really the guarantees of understanding that that service is going to work all the time. We've all had the experiences in airports or hotels or other places where maybe we don't have great access to cellular service, and I'm sure you've had this experience at some of the trade shows we all attend, and you can't get on the Wi-Fi. It's just too crowded. It's just not built for massive scale. It's not built for things like massive IoT. So making those conversations in the beginning with the customers to really get them to understand, but it translating again into an ROI. How many radios do you have to put in for Wi-Fi to cover this area versus how many radios do we have to put in when we're using our licensed spectrum on 5G? These are the things that start to get people, and you see the light bulbs go on in their head. The other challenge, though, has still been the ecosystem. We work with a lot of, we didn't really talk about this, but a lot of some of our other partnerships are our ecosystem partners, people who are building hardware, phones, routers, mobile hotspots, cameras, IoT devices. We're finally setting into the world where those capabilities of 5G are making their way into these devices. And that has been a little bit of an impediment in the last few years across the industry, not just a T-Mobile issue. But we spend a lot of time and energy working specifically with those partners to say, look, we've uncovered these use cases for this type of device that you make. Let's work together. We've identified lots of opportunities, but what's holding us back is it's not 5G capable. So putting those things together is really those two areas of education around what 5G is and what it's not. How is it better than some of the other technologies that you may have a price tag on and say, oh, they're not so, it's not so bad in a per unit price. But when you look at the overall installation cost, the overall operating cost, but then really the performance you're going to get out of that system versus what you'll get with a 5G implementation, then you get the customer over that hump and we start to move into, now we have the devices, now we have the applications, now we have the partner ecosystem, our collaborators, our innovators, and we're bringing it all together. And we're really, I think, at a critical point now where we're beginning to see a lot of traction where most of those things are not concerns anymore for our customer bases, but they have been for a little bit of time, for sure.
Fantastic. Let's take a step back a minute, look at the macro business and tech landscape. What do you see as some of the biggest opportunities for 5G in business today?
For sure, manufacturing and logistics. I mean, those healthcare as well, but manufacturing and logistics are areas of 24/7 operation, vast mobility, moving things around this, the entire country, if not the world. And if you look at the relationships we have in our TIoT product, which gives you global reach on that, these are things that are so amazing for manufacturers to say, I can track a part as it starts its journey in my manufacturing line all the way through assembly, as it goes down and through shipping and the logistics. And then ultimately, if we do this correctly, you can have a B2B2C capability when you deliver that to the customer. And that's a great example of what's going on in the automotive industry, for instance, trucking and transportation, logistics industry, just that amount of collecting of data to not just be able to do what you're doing in your supply chain and your capabilities, but what you can also deliver to the end customer and capabilities is really something that's amazing. In the healthcare industry, again, the amount of data that goes in healthcare is staggering. And most people probably don't have any understanding of that. The amount of things going on in imaging and just talking to people, video, it's huge amounts of data that is really stressing the current communication systems that most hospitals and other healthcare providers are experiencing. So that's another area that we think is going to be really, really large for the 5G area. But there's really almost no place that 5G is not going to touch. As AI becomes more and more prolific in the things that we do, which I think we can all agree we're really right there now at the beginning of that journey. It's hard to read anything these days without someone having AI or introducing AI, and we're just at the beginning of that journey. There's a large amounts of data in those models. And today, engineers are amazingly smart. They work around the limitations of their connectivity. They move a lot of things on device. They move a lot of things. These large language models are massive. But the more and more you get fast, low latency connectivity with 5G, you can move more of those things up back into the cloud. Cheaper devices on the endpoint, faster models being built and run. So that way you can learn from things going on, say in one factory to impact one of your other factories in a much faster fashion. So those things are going to be driving them. And the access to that data, the data lakes are growing and growing and growing. But we've seen so much research that shows all of that IoT data, all of that stuff gets stored, very rarely gets used because it's so hard to access. So 5G is going to really enable that. And then lastly, I think an area that we're seeing a lot of promise is what it's going to go do to some of the other areas like broadcasting and sports. Already we're doing things with some major sports franchises and some major sports leagues on how we're transforming their business, removing their tethering and their cabling and having them and then being able to do really amazing things. You've seen some of the stuff we've done with Drone Racing League, for instance, where putting 5G into that space just amazingly from a broadcast perspective and what they can show their customers and their consumers and their audience is just fantastic. So there's really not going to be any area we don't think 5G is going to touch, but those are definitely some of the upfront ones that are really ready to embrace the technology and have use cases that can really be pushed forward in an order of magnitude of where they are by using 5G versus traditional connectivity.
Wow. I need to take a breath here. This is so exciting, so inspiring. And thank you so much for sharing all the insight and your vision at T-Mobile for Business. And look forward to additional discussions in the near future. The space is changing so rapidly. We need updates from you soon. And before we sign off here, I noticed this. I've been looking at this basketball in the background here. I'm a basketball fanatic myself. What is that? And
I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to meet and speak with Christian Leitner, the great basketball star from Duke, long NBA career, the only collegiate player on the original Dream Team, and had a little bit of time to spend with him. And he was gracious enough to sign a basketball for me, which I keep here in my office.
You guys meet the best people, so can't wait to catch a game together. And thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tweeting and posting. Any comments, replies, shares are welcome. And until next time, take care.
Thank you.